the first Tiny Trees Christmas card stream of 2025. Normally by now, I've done a lot of cards. This year though, it's been busy. I've done none. Luckily, I had one sheet left over from last year that I've just taken off the block, which is great because it means that I knew exactly what my spacing was going to be. So I have now taped off for spacing. I've pulled not the same color palette as last year. I thought I was going to. I realized that those paints are all upstairs because I'm in the middle of a palette reorganization. And so instead, for today at least, we are going to use 31 Purple Fish paints. There we go. So we are going to use the 31 Purple Fish paints. We are also going to use my new round brushes, I think. My Tintorettos are looking worse for wear these days. But I had an early birthday gift from a friend, which is some lovely Princeton travel brushes. And I think I'm gonna crack into these as an early birthday present to myself and start using these tonight because this 6 has seen better days and this 2 has as well. So it's so odd, like I don't quite know where to start, but I guess let's start with opening up this 8. Oh, look at that. Look at that difference. Well-loved brush versus brand new brush. I'm very excited. Hello. All right, let's grab a flat. It's so odd. It's a different color palette than last year and I just don't quite know what to reach for. So we are actually just gonna wet all of these colors. All of these colors seem like a lot, but let's wet a bunch of them. And when I say it's a lot of colors, this is just my purples palette for 31 Purple Fish. It's a lot of colors. I am a big fan of her super granulating colors that she calls Haze and Lunar and Rock. They're super fun. And they all happen to live together. And so it makes it really easy to pull for something like this. Also, as you can see from last year's, we don't do normal color trees around here. Normal color trees are so boring, and so we just don't do that around here. So let's grab water. And let's hope my tape is stuck down. Because if not, we're gonna find that out pretty fast. We will find that out pretty fast. It's definitely not adhered right there. The sad thing is I can't find these blocks on Amazon right now, so I literally only have this block. I have this block and no other paper. Well, I have other paper, just not in this size, and other sizes are sort of annoying to use for Christmas cards because you have to cut them down more into weirder sizes, whereas this actually divides quite nicely into, I think each page makes 12 cards in the end. All right. Oh, look at that. Okay. Pick a color. I guess I'll pick the first color, but after that, feel free to offer color suggestions. I haven't painted one of these in ages. Here's number 1. Next is going to be this purple. I don't know that I like these as much as last year's trees, but I always feel like the first couple are not totally there. Chartreuse, all right. I actually have one called Neon Chartreuse. After that, I sort of feel like putting in soft mint. I feel like soft mint is a good color after Neon Chartreuse. My base is no longer wet. Let's go in with more of this because it's very pretty, but it's also very light. I don't know what else I want. I think maybe I want to wet the reds and oranges that are next to me. I guess I could probably fit them on the top of the desk. But I'm thinking that I'm going to go very blue for the next one. Sort of like an indigo-y blue. Oh, I do have a indigo. Or I could go blue jean. Or what do I have up there? Ooh, I like the idea of that actually. I'm so lucky that landed on the palette. And not. On my page. I forgot how much water these brushes hold when they're brand new. My old ones don't hold this much water anymore. These are also Princeton brushes, and my old ones were Tintorettos. Both, though, are synthetic Squirrel or Kolinsky. I think this is a synthetic Kolinsky, but it could be a synthetic Squirrel. Okay, one sec. Let's compare. Okay. They're not, I think I need a smaller round brush. Let's finish this row, and then I'll get a smaller round brush out. And maybe a smaller flat, because this is definitely much thinner. Feels so late to be starting these. Last year I started these back in September. Like I've only got 2.5 weeks, less than that, because I got scriptus this week. I also feel out of practice painting. I really haven't painted trees in a couple weeks. I think most people would do this while listening to Christmas music, but that's not really my style. So as always, I'm listening to the random playlist of every musical I've ever bought on iTunes shuffled. I have to say, Mary Poppins into Death Becomes Her is a weird combo. I am excited for Christmas. It's always interesting because my birthday's beginning of November, and then I've got a couple weeks before my birthday until Christmas, or after my birthday until Christmas. So I like doing projects like this. Last year, the bazaar and Christmas sale happened to be the same weekend as my birthday. And that was hard because the sale was Saturday and my birthday was Sunday. So I was really tired. This year, though, it's the week after my birthday. So I have a little bit more time. I agree, it's too early for Christmas music, but I find that if I'm trying to paint Christmas cards, nothing gets me more in the mood for painting Christmas cards than Christmas music, especially when it's like still warm outside and I don't want to be painting Christmas cards. And that's where I've been. It's been hot outside. It's been hot and rainy. So I could have been painting Christmas cards, and instead I've been editing and doing stuff like that the past couple days. But in turn, it means that now I'm sort of starting to feel the pressure, hence the 9:15 at night painting live, as I'm going, oh shit, I guess we actually have to get this stuff at least started. And that's always the thing, like, I find it the hardest to start this project. Once it's started, I'm fine. But it's hard to start Christmas cards when it's this early in the year. All right, we're gonna make 2 changes. We are going to grab do I not have a smaller flat brush that's bigger than that? I do. Right, and then round wise, that's an 8. So I would like a 4? Question mark? Nope. Highly likely that I go back to my very worn Tintoretto brush. Okay. I'm gonna try this. I think it's too big for what I want still, but I don't have a 2 in Princeton. The smallest I have is a 4. I've got a 4, a 6, an 8, and a 10 in 2 different styles. So those are our 2 changes. I think this is probably full of paint. It is. Let's grab a clean one. Oh, I don't like these. Ugh. Oh yeah, no, they're totally different. I wonder why I bought these ones. Maybe I couldn't get the other ones. I'm just gonna put some water on the page. All right. That's better. I liked this purple I mixed, so let's start there. Oh, yeah. I'm sure those were done with a flat brush. The nice thing about these cards is each one is so little that you can't really tell when a one tree is really awkward. We sort of always make the awkward tree the cut line. I don't even know what I'm doing for Halloween. Last year I did, again, it was rainy and gross. And it's mostly just for the neighborhood kids that everyone in the neighborhood dresses up. And so I did Mia Thermopolis from Princess Diaries 2, where they have the PJ princess party. And I just stuck a tiara on with a pair of PJs, which I have to say is like the world's easiest costume. And it might make a reappearance this year because it was so easy. We'll do a line of these ones. Well, maybe we'll try a flat brush. Tonight's really just about experimenting and figuring out the rhythm of trees again. Because I feel really out of practice, which is funny because I paint tiny trees all the time. And yet these feel so different. These are so different than a tiny tree. I need a new color. We'll go back in them with this turquoise because I really liked it. Ooh, that sounds like fun. I don't know, I might have to raid my Halloween costume collection and see if I want to do something more over the top this year, but I don't think I do. There's something really nice about a low-key costume that you can pull together with just things you've got around the house. That, and I think I've got to do one more tree to make it a length that I can cut off. And then I'm going to switch brushes. Which seems weird, but I miss my broken Tintoretto that has bristles everywhere and doesn't have a tip anymore, and I miss it. So, like, that is stunning. Honestly, like that, 10 out of 10. So maybe I'll use this for the lines of the middle of the tree. And I'll use the Tintoretto for the rest of the tree. I do think I will go back to the normal color palette for the rest of these trees. I just knew that if I went upstairs to grab the other paints, I wasn't going to come back down and actually paint. And that is, you know, the goal was to actually start this project. Okay. Let's go back to the old trusty Tintoretto. My desk is just covered in brushes, which honestly feels right. Nope. I think we are officially too dead for trees. Maybe. We'll try one more. Yeah, no. See, then it's less of a high effort costume. I know some people that do really high effort costumes, and that is never me, or hasn't been me for a very long time. I want a nice green. Let's go with that green. Yeah, I have so much awe for people that do cosplay and yet have no interest. That one's not awful. That one's not awful. I have, like, it's been, how long has it been since I've gone to just sit down and paint? Months. I think we were at the cottage. Was the last time I sat down to paint anything other than tiny trees. And this is still tiny trees, but like it isn't speed running a month of tiny tree shorts in 5 hours. And it sort of feels lovely. Let's pick a color. I need a color suggestion. I don't know what to grab next. After that very bright green. I don't know what to grab. I'm thinking about a blue. I do have a purple. Ooh. I like the idea of a teal. Let's go back in with teal. Teal's been the real MVP of this piece so far. I would agree. I'm very much a like blues and greens person, right? This time of year. And then in a couple weeks, I'm going to be very dusty, muted colors. And it doesn't necessarily have to be like blues or greens or anything, but dusty and muted colors are about to be in like every inked up video I do. As I was reminded this summer, pine trees are actually really ugly and really unsymmetrical. So all this time I spend trying to make them look symmetrical is really a waste of my time, because pine trees in the wild, not symmetrical at all. Like, at all. I saw some really weird pine trees this summer that I did not photograph, but I should have, because some of them were crazy. This paper isn't drying. Shit. Don't tell me the sizing on this page is bad. You look up here, it's still wet, and it shouldn't be. It's had enough time to dry. So that's a bit concerning. It's not that old of paper. Most paper lasts more than a year. All right, we're gonna keep going because I refuse to give up, and I will just leave it on my desk overnight and hope that it just dries very slowly. Ah, oh yeah. No, this is the brush I used for those trees. Yeah. Currently our problem is ladybugs. Though we don't have them in the house this year, so that's nice. That's a nice change. I'm so happy I figured out it was this brush that I used. It also suddenly makes sense why this normally white brush is so stained and why I bought 2 new brushes. This teal is the real MVP this year because it's making another appearance. I really like it. What color is it, apparently? Oh, it's Ocean Deep. Yes, I do really like it. I think this is my second pan of it that I've had. The funny thing is, by the time everyone else is doing Christmas cards, I'm normally done and burnt out on Christmas cards and like, I'm over Christmas. But I wonder if that's not going to happen this year because I've started them a lot later this year. Normally by this point, I'm done most of them. Let's do a bright pink. Why not? All right, it looks so much better with the fan. So I'm gonna have to figure out what to do with those. I might just turn this top row entirely into gift tags. That might be my solution for that top row. So the time to beat from last year for one of these sheets, I think is like an hour 20. Is I think what I was down to by the end of last year. I don't know that I'm gonna do a full sheet in an hour 20, seeing as we're at the 40-minute mark. But let's see what I can actually do. Let's grab a different blue. I do like all the different variations in these trees with all the different brushes. Okay, well, that was helpful. All right. I need a color. Actually, I might need a gray. I need a color. I feel like maybe this is right. There we go. I feel like at this point I've done a lot. And I'm looking at it, I'm going, oh, there's so many. There's so many still to do. Let's go in with this color. I don't know what you are, but you look pretty. I thought I chose to try this in the middle of a page. I believe we're this color. Thanks. Let's mix this pink in with this purple. Just make it a little bit pinker purple. All right. Yes, this line's just becoming muted, so let's take a little bit of this and mix it into our teal. Just like bringing everything down a couple degrees. That's what I should have done, was take that and mix it into there, but too late now. This is the weirdest way to paint trees, and I'm really enjoying it. It's one of those nights where the plan wasn't to do this, but I've spent all day troubleshooting grandma's laptop and I just sort of needed a sense of accomplishment at the end of the day. And I figured there's no better sense of accomplishment than actually starting Christmas cards with like 3 weeks until I have to have them done for the Christmas bazaar. So, you know, it had to happen sooner rather than later. And it was just gonna happen at some point. And so it happened tonight. But I am enjoying it. It's one of those things that always feels really daunting until I actually start it. And now that I'm actually sitting down to do them, I'm like, why have I been procrastinating this for weeks? Because it's not as bad as it seems. I realized the chat on my phone's all the way at the very beginning for whatever reason, but that doesn't matter. I've got my laptop set up next to me on the desk. So I can watch / read the chat over there. That being said, I do need to I think I might, I don't know that I'm going to do the full page. I don't know that I've got a full page in me, but I also feel like I know that I have physio tomorrow at 9 a.m. and I'm going to regret this tomorrow morning. The reason I really like what I do on YouTube is that it works with my schedule. And my schedule is a person that takes pretty much a 2-hour nap every day to be a functional human being. So YouTube actually works quite well for me because I get to make content around my own schedule. So it means tonight at 10 o'clock when I feel fine, I'm making content, but I spent most of the day babysitting a laptop that was not behaving and is still not behaving. I really like that color. Oh, I love that color. All right, the worst part about this is these are all becoming custom mixes and I'm never gonna be able to recreate any of them again. And the funny thing is, oh, where's this tape line? There. I never do custom mixes with the 31 Purple Fish paints. It's just not something I do. Yeah, so this laptop wouldn't upgrade to Windows 11, which meant I got to upgrade to a new MacBook so Grandma could have my old MacBook. I've learned though in the past 72 hours that Lenovo's, I already hated the Lenovo that she was on. It was very unuser friendly. I've learned though in the past 72 hours that like every Windows troubleshooting guide or Reddit troubleshooting guide for going from a Windows device to an Apple device does not work with a Lenovo. You know, it's, I am flying solo here. I am not enjoying it. And, you know, it's taking a lot more time than I thought it would. Like it took me 19 hours to do my laptop, and that was updating both devices and transferring all the files over and then wiping the old device. And I am now 3 days deep into grandma's laptop and have pretty much made no progress. And I'm about ready to cry, but I'm monitoring the progress. I put progress in air quotes on her phone actually, as I sit here and do this. Because I just, I can't spend more time on it today. And for my own mental health, I need to end my day doing something else. I said I wasn't going to paint all these, but I think if I just leave this section, I will be really bugged. So, as late as it is, oh yeah, it's approaching 10:30. We are going to power through and just keep going. At some point, I'm going to run out of space on this palette. That's going to be a later issue. I am too. I really like this through here. And then I really love this row. This row is making me very happy. So again, we're just playing with things I've got on the palette because I'm starting to run out of space. And people really liked the muted gray ones last year. They were the first trees I sold out of last year. I did in the end sell out of trees and had to make more for commissions for people. I didn't sell out of Christmas balls. And so I think if I make any Christmas balls, I'm making like a single sheet of the color shifter ones. Because other than that, I'm actually I made so many of them last year because they were sort of my palette cleanser every time I got tired of trees. Those are almost too close to go side by side. I wonder if those are actually the same color. I bet you they are. I bet you they are the same color. All right. Oh, that was mint. Oh. I thought it was light blue, but it's not. It's mint. Fine, be a weird color. Oh, because light blue's a rodeo. If I'd actually paid attention to what I was grabbing, I would have seen that I was grabbing from the wrong row. This row is so gray. Sure. We're going to take some of that and add it into sure. So that's the same base with a little bit of alizarin crimson added, which isn't exactly what I wanted to do, but close enough. And at this point, we're taking close enough. I will say Canada Post isn't totally sorted out again. but they are more sorted out in the sense that our local post office is at least open. They're doing rotating strikes. And so I should be able to ship out orders. I don't know that I'm going to post a whole bunch for sale, but I will do pre-orders for people who would like that. It might actually be easiest if you order the next couple days, because I know people that are coming to Scriptus from the States. And so if Canada Post does go on strike again, I could just have it shipped by them once they get home. That might actually be the easiest. If you just DM me on Instagram. Let's... No. It's like, that's too, it's too perfect. That purple wasn't dusty and muted enough. All right. I'm actually gonna have to shift my light so that I can move this page up high enough. There we go. Last row of the first page of Christmas cards of the year. That's so weird. Because at dinner time I was thinking, oh, these actually need to get done. And now it's like actually started. I did not. I'm going to end up watching the replay tomorrow, which is how I tend to watch Hemingway's show, actually. I very rarely watch it the night of. Sometimes I catch it the night of, but most of the time I am a replay sort of girl. For most of the live shows, actually, people do. I like being able to put it on 1.5 in a set of headphones while I putter in the basement and get stuff done in my office. And so I've sort of always been a replay person for live streams. I assume, though, that it went quite well, because Hemingway and Marina together can't be a bad thing. There's still magenta in this brush. I sort of forgot how much I like painting. The last time I painted was when we were at the lake in June. which seems absurd, but other than like tiny trees, I haven't gone to sit down and paint since June. I need a new weekly watercolor challenge. I miss having a weekly watercolor challenge that forced me to sit down and paint every week. Oh. Because I don't even know how many people have been around here since Paint Your Style was a thing on this channel. Or since this channel was primarily a watercolor channel. Now this channel is like sporadically a watercolor channel. But this channel for a long time was a watercolor channel. Maybe in 2026, I'll find a new watercolor challenge for the beginning of the year. Because it'll be the winter and it'll be dark and gross and it'll feel blah. Yeah, so normally by now I'm mostly done Christmas cards, but I've sort of been with pen shows and everything, I've been so busy that I've not done them yet this year. And so I sort of feel the time crunch because I don't actually have that much time. There's no way these two colors are moving. They've been there for a year, almost a year. They're not going anywhere. Let's grab a muted blue. They have, I miss some of the really technical watercolor videos I used to do though. I love fountain pens, but there aren't as many really technical videos you get to do with fountain pens compared to watercolor. Like the pigment deep dive videos are always so much fun with watercolor because there are so many super cool pigments out there. I don't know that we ever did it. We talked about doing it for a long time, but I don't know that it ever actually happened. This is a fun group of colors. We talked about it for a long time, but I don't know that it ever actually happened. See, this is what I still can't quite figure out this evening, is the really skinny trees I had last year. These ones were all very, very skinny and didn't touch each other. All of them this year touch each other. So, I'm gonna need to figure that out. Let's grab something truly blue. I just can't get the spacing right for them. They were so sort of tall and skinny and but also short last year that they're not quite right. They're not bad, they're just not quite what I want. It is. So this was last year's full color palette because of course I actually did a swatch card. And so there were lots of colors that actually went on last year. It just happens to be that this last final set of trees that I didn't end up needing last year were much plainer than some of the other trees that got created last year. What is this? Sure. And now it's just like, I knew that if I went upstairs to grab my actual studio palette, I wasn't gonna come back down and paint. I was gonna go upstairs and go to bed. So instead, we painted with desks. We painted with paints that were in my office so that I didn't have an opportunity to go upstairs. I don't know how I feel about these two, but they might become gift tags. I need just sort of the edge of a tree and blurbles. There we go. There's our first fully painted page of trees of the year. And there's the palette. Look at that. I will say, my spacing's really off. Like, so off. Look how these trees don't touch at all. Look how much those trees touch. So I need to figure that out because I like the empty space. I like having a little bit of white space between the trees. So I need to figure that out. But at least I figured out brushes. I figured out what brushes are gonna work. I figured out what brushes don't work. And I've got a better idea of brushes going forward. And so hopefully this will go more quickly. And it also didn't take as long as I thought. I think my fastest time last year was 2 hours, 20 minutes for a sheet. This is only 2 hours, 25 minutes. And we had lots of pauses to talk. So I probably could have done it in under 2 hours, 20 minutes, which does give me a bit of hope. So I'm going to leave this to dry. I'm not super happy with that one. I'm going to do something I hate doing, which is I'm gonna go in and sort of color it with paint. It'll probably be getting cut off anyways. So in the grand scheme of things, doesn't really matter. But at least that way it looks a bit more like it belongs. And I will leave these to dry overnight. There's a sense of accomplishment in that, and the fact that they're finally started. And I hope you enjoyed. And I will see you, I was gonna say I'll see you later on this week for the next one, but no, I have Scriptus this weekend and the Pelican Hub. So it'll probably be next week unless I'm really organized and do one of these tomorrow. But Mom and I still have to do our Empire State Pen Show recap. So that might be happening tomorrow. We'll have to see. But I hope you have a good evening. Thanks for hanging out. Thank you for your color suggestions. Leave other color suggestions in the comments below and I will use them in the next round of this because I'm always game to not have to pick my own colors. And I will